What's going on, 49er fans? Thank you for stopping by and checking out this video. Hope you're all having a great day. Now, apparently, we just can't go through a day without talking about Trey Lance because, that's the thing on the YouTubes, right? Hmm. I love this team so much, but man, it gets a little out there. So, what the new reports are, there's new video that surfaced, and I have watched, of him throwing again, again, and now everyone is saying he's basically reverted back to his normal passing that he was doing last year. I played defense when I played football, so I'm no quarterback guru. It looks the same to me, I guess. I didn't see anything crazy out of the last video either, but a lot of people broke that down as some groundbreaking. Oh my God, this dude's the best quarterback of all time. You know, I don't go that far. I don't get too high and I don't get too low. And I don't believe everything I hear on the internet. You know who said that? Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, Google it. Anyways, with the Trey Lance talk, apparently there are reports now that kind of go against the narrative that everybody was talking about last week. That basically, well, everyone was saying last week that Trey Lance was working with Christensen. I think Jeff Christensen, which is Patrick Mahomes' personal quarterback coach. And everyone's like, oh, that's great. Isn't that great? Even I was thinking that was great. That's awesome. It's awesome news. Apparently, that's not what's happening. Trey Lance and Patrick Mahomes share the same strength and conditioning coach in the offseason. So they just happen to be at the same facility at the same time. And Pat Mahomes, quarterback coach, is also there. That doesn't mean he's working with Trey. That's what I'm gathering from this because Christensen isn't a strength and conditioning coach that helps people rehab in the offseason. That's not what he does. He's a quarterback coach. So I think, as usual, on the internet, people are reading too much into the tea leaves and coming up with all this stuff. And I get it. Trust me. We're all here for the same reason. We want 49er content. I understand it. But sometimes we just got to let things play out and let the truth come out. Let's not get too excited. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. So that's basically where it is right now. And let's I'm just saying this is just what's out there right now. I'm not saying this is 100% true, but basically the reports are they're just sharing the same strength and conditioning coach. And they're working at the same facility. That's pretty much it. Yay. That's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's nothing to freak out over. I know it's April and people are like jonesing for some news, so that's news. Let's move on with some real news. Oh wait, should we talk about more Trey Lance trade talk? No. Let's move on. As more of the other YouTubers and people on the Twitterverse, which I avoid as much as possible, like the plague, there are so many people out there saying that, well, Brock's just not going to be 100%. And I kind of take a slight with that because that's just as bad as saying, or it's on the same level of saying that, oh, I think Trey Lance is going to be awesome this year when he gets a chance. You're making assumptions. And you know what happens when you make assumptions, right? You make an ass out of you and me. Well, I'm not going to play either of those games. You don't know. No one knows yet of where Brock is going to be. Will he be ready for training camp? I don't know. Neither do you. The coaches don't even know. The 49ers don't know. And we can hope for the best and we can talk about it. Hell, yeah, I'll talk about it. I make videos every day. We'll definitely talk about it. But I can't go out there and say, yeah, that's a guaranteed thing. And I can't guarantee that it won't happen. So I think the idea of just writing Brock off just because you're a Trey fan is, it's like I've said in other videos, there's extremes. I don't want to be on an extreme side of either. I said I don't want to trade Trey Lance. Unless someone comes knocking on the door with the first round draft pick, I'm really not interested. I don't think we'll get that, but otherwise I don't see it really happening. Could something to develop in the next few months? Yeah, sure. But as of right now, no, I don't. But trading Trey Lance is an extreme. And thinking Brock Purdy is gonna completely suck next year when he comes back is also another extreme that I don't want to entertain. You you can't have it like you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, oh man, I'm so big on Trey and this guy's gonna be great. And on the same side, tell yourself honestly, like, oh man, Brock's just really gonna struggle this year if he plays at all with his elbow injury. It's I don't know, man. I think you should like look yourself in the mirror a little bit because it's like those are both extremes. The truth is always somewhere in the middle. I think Trey can be great. I think Brock's going to recover and be great this year too and build off what he did last year. If Brock's not ready to go in the beginning of the season, I think Trey's going to get a shot and I think he'll do well. I think I said last week, I'm not really going to do any Sam Darnold talk, any news, until I see him throw a football with the 49er uniform on. I don't care. I'm going to waste my fucking breath on it. But I will talk about Brock and Trey because we're invested. They're part of our team. I'm not wearing a Niner hoodie right now, but you know what I mean. There's also some other interesting news today that we did bring up. We did have the pro day, the local pro, not local pro day, but we had the pro day. Perhaps it was local. Let me pull it up. I did think it was some interesting stuff here when I read this earlier. Now, this quarterback, God, we were just talking about this guy, Haener, Jake Haener, Fresno State. So this probably is local pro day. It's just 49ers players visiting 49ers pro day. Okay. I saw this interesting quote or when they asked Jake Haener about Brock Purdy, and I'll read this to you because I thought it was pretty cool. He goes on to say, I just feel like Brock's different. I'm different. There's different things that we do in our games, Haener said. Shoot, I'm even older than Brock Purdy by 9 months. Brock did really good things this year, and I'm super happy for him and his family. But at the same time, I'm on my own mission, my own train, and trying to do something for a franchise that believes in me. That's pretty cool. He goes on to say, I definitely wake up in a couple of weeks knowing what reality's like. I definitely wake up in a couple of weeks not knowing what reality is like because it's been my dream since I was this tall, 8 or 9 years old. I always told my dad I was going to the NFL. He told me that first time it was 1 in a million. I feel like I'm going to be 1 in a million. It's a cool story. Brock, last pick, Mr. Irrelevant, last pick, 7th round. This guy's projected to go a little higher, not, I suppose. I mean, like, if they redrafted now, Brock would go higher. I think I'd seen some report that the Niners had considered Brock sixth round or not drafting him at all. Hopefully, that he might fall to them as a unrestricted or undrafted. But they pulled the trigger. Glad they did. Also, while I got this report open, this news article, Frank Gore made a cameo today at the Pro Day. Goes on to say Frank Gore, the 49ers all-time leading rusher, attended the 1-hour workout in sweats and watched from the sideline. A year ago, he officially retired as a 49er, and he someday hopes to take on scouting role. Though nothing official has been announced for that part at this point. Gore's 16th and final season in the NFL was in 2020 with the New York Jets, whose quarterback was Darnold. I said I wasn't going to talk about Darnold. I knew this part was coming up, though. Gore spoke highly of Darnold, who played in his third and final season with the Jets in 2020 before joining Carolina for 2 years and then to the 49ers this offseason. So, would the 49ers care about Frank Gore saying something nicely about Sam Darnold? Probably not. But that's there. It's news. I do 49er news. So that happened. And, yeah. Sorry I can't bore you guys with a bunch of more Trey Lance trade talk news. I'm not interested. As things pick up, maybe towards the draft and there's more things going on, possibly. But right now, it's like, nah. So, figure I'd share my thoughts with you today about some things and some of the news that popped out today, because that's what I do, and I don't want to bullshit you guys and waste your time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.